Hello, friends, neighbors, welcome to Matty's Midlife Crisis. We are already, this is episode 4. So welcome to episode 4. This has been blowing my mind. We're cooking. So yeah, thank you for watching the other 3 videos. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed, that's commented on these videos. It's blowing my mind that people are seeing these. So this is really just my way of just talking about what I'm going through and what's going on in my life. And it's cool that there are people out there who have never met me that find this interesting. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Today was awesome. Got to write with a friend of mine. His name is Wesley Saylor, and he's from Lexington, Kentucky. And we met years ago doing this thing called the Acoustic Guitar Project, where there's a lady, her name is Trish Torline, and she had this guitar that, whatever this company is, the Acoustic Guitar Project, they just sent her this guitar, and basically she passes it around to songwriters, and you have to write a song and record the song. And then at the end of, I think it's like a month or something like that, we all got together and played a show. And I got to play, the first time I met Wesley was during this Acoustic Guitar Project show. And I got to hear his songs, and this was probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, maybe not quite like that long. But I was like, man, the kid's super talented. So today he came to the studio and we wrote a song together. Actually, I think check this out. A little blast from the past, Wesley. Acoustic Guitar Project mug right here, sitting here on my desk. Just happened to notice that, y'all. Check out the Acoustic Guitar Project. I think they got stuff up on YouTube. And you might even hear a song of mine from like 6 or 7 years ago. And definitely a song from Wesley Saylor. But we wrote a song, or started writing a song today. We're going to finish it next week. So any day I get to write a song is a good day. And that's how I feel today. But number 2, it was really cool to see Wesley's kind of process, because I kind of come from the Nashville school of songwriting a little bit, get in a room with 2 acoustic guitars and write songs, right? But he's kind of production minded. So we came in, started out with acoustic guitars, and then next thing I know, he's playing the piano, and we're kind of coming up with production parts. And then next week we're going to go into his studio and demo this thing out a little bit and finish the song. It's really just cool to see his process and see how his mind works and how he puts parts together and songs together. And I'm really stoked about this song. It's like a super pop song. I don't hardly ever get to do that stuff because I kind of live in the country world. Most of my music that I put out is mostly in the country music vein. But I love to write all genres, so it's really cool when I finally get a chance to use my pop chops. So got to do that today with Wesley Saylor. Shout out, man. Thanks for writing with me. I can't wait for next week to see what we get, man. I'm excited. Also this week I had some friends that invited me to a house show. And one of the things that I'm loving so far about just not having a set everyday go into work job, like I said, like I told you guys, I've been working at church for the last 10 years. I actually worked at a church for the last almost 25 years, but I was at this one church for 10 years, and so you like I said, Sunday's always coming. You always have stuff that you got to figure out for that, so you're constantly doing something, and it's kind of hard to have a set schedule because things always are popping up. So I always hated it when I had to tell friends I couldn't come to shows or come check out some of their favorite bands or whatever. And then the weekends, it's hard because then I'm gigging. So all my friends that are playing around, I'm usually playing the same nights they're playing. So you don't get to go out and actually experience live music. So one of the things that I'm loving so far about just not having an all day job is when my friends say, hey, we're going to go see a house show on Sunday night. Do you want to go? I can be like, absolutely, because, I didn't have to spend my whole Sunday doing all church work, right? So Susan and Larry invited me to this house show in Louisville, Kentucky, and really, really amazing musicians. Paul Fowl is his name, and another guy named Connor Pledger. I think Paul's from Nashville. I think Connor's from LA. But they somehow along the way over the years playing music, they hooked up and they've been playing shows together. And amazing singer-songwriters, amazing voices. And I left there incredibly inspired. So, you know, if you don't have anything better to do, check out Paul Fowl. I think his last name is Pfau. Paul Pfau Fowl. And then Connor Pledger is his name. And fantastic songwriters and musicians, melody machines. If you know anything about me, you know how much I love melodies, and these guys have it in spades. So check those guys out. And thank you, Susan and Larry, for having me come out to this house show with you and just be inspired by other musicians and art. And then thank you so much, Paul and Connor. They actually asked me to come up and play a couple songs like during their break. And you know, I always love getting a chance to play and sing, but I really appreciate it when guys that are putting on a show, you know, let other local musicians like me jump up and play a couple. So mad props for that. Huge respect. You did not have to do that at all, but I appreciate you seeing me and caring about me, and hopefully I can return the favor one day. If you're ever around, let's play some shows together, or maybe I'll just come see you play another show, because I would love that. But while we were at this house show, there was a lady there, and she was like the first person I met when I walked in the house, and she shook my hand, and it kind of caught me off guard, because it was like the firmest handshake I've had in a long time. My dad was a mechanic, right? So all my life, like growing up, you know, my dad's hand was like, it was like shaking hands with, you know, he's a mechanic. Like his grip is ridiculous. This lady had a firm handshake. She shook my hand like a mechanic, and it just, I don't know, it just caught my mind, you know? And I was just like, man, that lady can shake a hand. And it made an impression on me, you know? And it made me think, like, it's something as simple as that. Like, I'll never probably forget that lady. Like, I'll know her face the next time I see her and remember that's the lady that shook my hand. But it got me kind of thinking about, like, today I wrote songs with Wesley, and we were kind of talking about our processes, and it kind of made me think, all right, maybe one of the things I can do with this channel is just maybe talk about some things that I've learned over the years for songwriting, or, you know, playing guitar, or live music in general. And I think songwriting in general, I think one of the things that I always notice about really great songs, you know, the songs that you hear on the radio that are huge hits, or you know, even local guys, the songs that make me kind of peak up is when they get me right off the bat with an opening line that is just perfect, right? And there are so many examples of this throughout songwriting, but all your favorite hit songs, man, like Ed Sheeran, you know, that pop song, when your legs don't work like they used to. Like, that's such a weird kind of obscure thing, but you will never get that out of your head, because you're like, why would he say that? And then he ties it in so good, and then, you know, the rest of the song's great. By the time it gets to the chorus, he already had you at the first line. And then the chorus is, you know, the hook is amazing already, but that first line just kind of hooks you in. And I was just thinking about that lady's firm handshake, and I was like, that was her opening line when I walked in the room. She shook my hand and she was like, this is who I am. And I was just like, yeah, you made an impression on me. When you write songs, that's your first line is your first impression to an audience. If you don't hook them right from the very beginning, especially if, like, you're an up and coming songwriter or a local musician, a band or whatever, and you're getting ready to play your set or your songs, you know, in a live setting, your first impression is that first line of the song. What is the thing that's going to hook, you know, the audience or your listener? That opening line is everything. So that's one of my tips, man. Like, if you're a songwriter, really focus on your opening line and tie it into your hook really well. And if you do that, then, you know, the rest of the song is probably going to be better, because you're going to spend the whole time on your verses trying to beat that first line, right? But if you're not trying to sing a line or write a line that's really strong, and then trying to beat each line or connect the lines together so that they make, into this really clever or profound thought, or whatever the vibe of the song is. That first opening line has to be strong. And then I've noticed that if it is, then you will spend enough time on the next line making sure that line holds up to the first line. And when you do that, you tend to build a song around just great lines. But a lot of times songs will die on the table if you don't get that first line or that hook strong enough, because then it doesn't capture anybody. And if you're pitching a song to an artist, they have to be able to connect with it. The best songs in the world, like there's a ton of singers out there that don't write songs. They're looking for songs all the time. They're not going to connect with your songs if you're not giving them things to connect with. And a lot of times when you're pitching songs to people, you only have a moment to make a first impression on an artist that's looking for songs. So if you come at them with a weak opening line, you don't have that firm handshake, they've already tuned you out. They're not even probably going to listen to the rest of the song. They're just going to go ahead and say, you got anything else? Same goes with your audience. The songs that people love about your catalog right now, maybe you don't have any cuts or any, hit songs or any of that stuff, but maybe you got a song on Spotify that's doing well. I'll just about guarantee, say like every one of your songs on Spotify has only got like 500 plays, but you got that one song that's got like 2,000. I bet your opening line for that song is stronger than any of the rest of your songs, or your main hook in the chorus is stronger than that. But I bet you hooked them early on better than you did in your other songs. These are things that you can study about other people's songs and your own songs to find out. What are my fans like? What does the audience I'm trying to capture like? What are people in my circle wanting from me? What's the story I'm trying to tell? What's the demographic of people that I think I can speak to? And does this song actually speak to the person that I maybe got targeted in my mind, right? If you're a country music artist, like maybe your demographic is, all right, I'm thinking about the 35-year-old dude that's working all day, right? And I'm trying to write these blue collar songs. Well, if you don't give him something that he connects with, it's already hard enough to get him to come to shows because he's working all the time, right? So you got to figure out that thing that connects with that guy to get him to come to shows, listen to your songs on Spotify, tell his buddies while they're working, you got to check this guy out, right? First impressions, man. Your opening line is everything. And when that lady shook my hand and said, it just told me that I was like, I will never forget that lady. And I'm that way about songs too. If you hit me with an opening line that's strong, I'm in. You got me. It doesn't matter what the genre is, because I know if that first line's strong, we're probably cooking for the rest of the song, because you're just going to spend your whole time trying to beat that line, and that makes really great songs. So yeah, house show was amazing, very inspiring, and hopefully you guys can use this tip if you're into songwriting or whatever, or even just music in general. If you're writing songs in your band and you're collaborating with 4 other people, like, you all got to be on the same page. Like, hey man, let's really work on these lines. Let's really try to make them strong so that we capture the listener, the audience that we're trying to capture, right? But man, I had a blast writing with Wesley. But we actually reconnected, me and Wesley Saylor, because Monday night I played this little show called the Sky Pieces Original Music Night in Lexington, and Wesley was on that show. Like I said, we hadn't seen each other in 6 or 7 years probably. So he played that night, and we got to reconnect, and now we're writing songs, and that's how music works, and that's what I love about it. But also there was another artist there. Her name was Mela B, is her artist name, and you can check that out. I think on Instagram and stuff, it's Mela B Music. But she had like her voice was just like really sweet, and her songwriting was really quirky. I loved it. So that's another person you can go check out is Mela B. Shout out Mela B. And but these are just up and coming local people that I kind of noticed, like they got a thing, man. They got like a vibe, and I would love for you guys to go check them out. I know it's easy to go check out the people that you hear about all the time, the Zach Bryans and the Ed Sheerans and the there's a million others, Tyler Childers and all these people that are right in the limelight right now, Nolan Taylor, but there's a bunch of local people that are writing some really great stuff, and you can go check them out just as easily because everybody these days is on streaming sites, right? We don't make any money from that. This is really just a way for us to get our songs in front of a few people, and the more you listen to them, the more other people might listen to them, because you know how algorithms work, right? Gotta love algorithms. When did it become about just trying to beat the algorithm? Why can't it just be about good songs and good art? I don't know. But we're doing it. I'm here talking on YouTube right now, and I'm sure there's an algorithm, and whether I like it or not, I'm thinking about it, I guess. Real talk. But yeah, big shout out to Sky Pieces for having me on and just getting to hang out with local musicians, and I got a really great ride out of it. So that's been my week pretty much so far, and I get to write some more next week. I got a couple different writes next week. Got one on Monday, and then I'm writing Tuesday and Wednesday again with Wesley Saylor. So kind of spending my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays doing more business stuff and more writes. So trying to take 2 or 3 hours and write with somebody, and then spend the rest of the time booking shows. And my wife and I have a studio, and it started out as my wife's photography studio, but it's kind of becoming just a studio where we can just be as creative as we want to be. So she calls it Simpsonography Creative House, and that's really what it's become, because we give like guitar and piano lessons and some vocal lessons and things like that out of there. So we're trying to build up, the musicians that are in our little town, and give back a little bit. But also, like, it's a place where I can come and write and be creative, record some stuff. But now we're starting to we just really started diving into making more content for what I'm doing. Like she's kind of got bit. She's really loving the music thing, and she's like traveling with me a little bit. She's been singing with me, and I think the bug bit her pretty hard, because now she's like, let's get on the road, and she's been booking. So we've both been sending out booking emails and making phone calls, and already booking like crazy, trying to book stuff all over the United States, and it's going to be a crazy good year, I think. But it's even better because I get to do it with my wife. So yeah, that's what I've been spending my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on, and then the weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, trying to gig. I've been working on, like I said, I got a new song coming out February called Lean, and I haven't really told a whole lot of people about this yet, but I've been basically trying to build a thing around this song, because I love this song and I love the message behind the song and what it means to me in my life. And I've noticed that when I play it at songwriter rounds or some shows, that people have really connected with it. And because I spent so much time working in a church and I have this ministry side of my life, I've been working on doing some things, maybe with some churches. And basically what we're doing is I basically built a little show around this song called Lean. And I'm taking it to churches, and basically it's just me telling my testimony through and my life story through songs, like the songs that I've written about my life. I basically tell stories about those songs, and I'm talking about my testimony and my faith through all the things that I've been through in my life, losing both my parents, how I've overcome that, what my faith looks like because of all of those things. And how to be creative within that space, how to not live in a bubble. I think I think it's really easy in the church to get stuck in this bubble. You're around, you eventually get around a bunch of people that all think like you, and that's not a good thing, right? As churches, we need to be as creative as we can and cultivate culture, but also be open to other people's perspectives sometimes, because it's easy for us to just think we're right. And I think sometimes in the ministry world, we need to pop our own bubble a little bit and remember that we might not always be dead right about everything that we believe, right? We don't have, I'm not the smartest dude alive, so I don't have all the answers. I know what I believe, and I know what I hold on to, and that's really what Lean's about. It's really just about what, the faith that I have, and how it's been a big part of my life, and how I've been able to hold on through the hard times. That's really what that song's about to me, and we kind of built this thing around it, and I've started booking some churches, and basically what I'm going to do is use those places as a place to just book to, right? So Sunday, if a church wants to have me come there for a Sunday and do that, then Friday, Saturday night I'm going to play gigs, maybe do a little small run to get to that church, and then a little small run on the way back, or whatever. I don't really know what all that looks like yet. We're still kind of in the beginning stages of it, but I just booked my first church, and we're going to go see what that's like, and pretty excited about where this could potentially go. And I don't know if it's gonna be a thing that takes off or not, because I plan on being pretty honest, and sometimes sometimes church doesn't like that, but there's just a lot of things that have happened in my life, and the way that I view what God's done in my life, that I think needs to be shared, and I hope to get the opportunity to share that as much as possible. But also, I just want to play music and create art with people and meet new people and have new experiences and travel to new places and eat new foods. And I'm just in that place in my life. Maybe you are too. But I know this, at some point, in order to do anything like that, you have to just take steps towards it. You have to make time for it, or it will never happen. So if you're out there and you have a project that you want to do, or you have this creative thing that you've been thinking about doing and you've been putting it off, start tomorrow. Even if it's the smallest step there is, just start doing it somehow, right? Start speaking it into the world. Tell a friend that you're thinking about doing it, because when you do that, then a week later, that friend's gonna be like, "Hey man, have you started that thing yet, man? I think it's a pretty good idea." It's gonna motivate you, because there's gonna be people that get behind it, because they're your friends. And then hopefully, as you build it, other people get involved in it. And maybe it's just a hobby, or maybe it turns into a life-changing thing. But you don't know until you start going after it, right? And that's really all I'm doing. That's really what this channel is kind of about right now. And 40 years old, quit my job. Now we're making YouTube videos, playing songs, writing songs, trying to travel. And I'm just trying to be as honest about all of it as I can be. So yeah, hopefully you love these videos. And if you don't, like I said, these are free. You don't have to watch them. But I appreciate it when you do. Extremely grateful for everybody out there who has supported me over the last several years in this music craziness that we're in. But even more so now, unbelievably grateful to the people who are supporting me on Patreon, that come to shows, that buy merch, that just tell me to keep going, or tell me they love a song. All that stuff makes me want to keep doing it. So thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. If you haven't already, I would love it if you would. Tell your friends about it if you can. Hit the bell icon so that you know when I'm posting videos. With that said, like I said, me and my wife have been making a lot more content. So I've got more content that's getting ready to hit this site, I think tomorrow. So tune back in here either tomorrow, or it might be today. I'm not really sure when I scheduled it for, because I'm new to the whole scheduling thing. But there's other things that I'm going to use this channel for, and one of them is getting ready to come up, and it's like I'm calling it Treats from the Road, and it's just basically like stories from being on the road, and some of them are, you know, just like really cool things that have happened. Some of them are like hilarious things that have happened. Some of them are things that are just ridiculous, that like pitfalls of the music business, like the, you know, like crazy stuff that you wouldn't think would ever happen, but these things happen all the time. There's a million of these stories, and so I'm looking forward to doing that. Probably going to put those out once a week, just little short tales from the road, calling them Treats from the Road. Look for that video, and then a bunch of lean content's about to come out, because that song is coming out in February. So be on the lookout. I'm going to start promoting that pretty heavy here very soon. But I hope you're creating. I hope that you're making art, either with yourself or with other people. Even if you plan on not making it your whole life, I think that we were made to create things. So whatever that looks like for you, go do it. But thank you immensely for watching this channel, and I will see you in episode 5. Thank you all so much.